G'day, I'm Steve. G'day, I'm Steve, Woodworking Masterclass, and welcome back. And if it's the first time you've joined us, welcome to the workshop. What we're doing here is part 2 of a 6-part series on how to make a hexagonal box with inlay work, which is done with veneers. What I want to do in this episode is to put a bottom and a top. Not sure if we'll get the top on, but definitely put a bottom on, do a bit of veneering, and start setting the groundwork for the veneering and the inlay or marquetry that we're going to do. Okay, so what I need first of all is some plywood. Actually, what I'd like to do before I even get the plywood is I want to get this shape in a template, and you'll see why later on. So I'll show you an easy way of doing it, and I'll show you a very, very cost-effective router table that I've made for profiling. Now, I will stress, with this router table, I don't use straight cutting bits, I use profile cutters. That is this type of router bit, which, as you can tell, has a ball bearing on it, which is the follower. The reason I like using these is because they'll follow the shape of whatever it is I'm trying to copy. You can get them in 6mm shafts or 12mm shafts. Now, I prefer using the size shank that the router actually has in its chuck. A lot of times you can get step down, so if you've got a 1/2 inch or a 12mm router chuck, you can put 8mm bits or 6mm bits in it, but from my experience I would much prefer, from a safety standpoint, to put the correct size shaft into the router. The only reason I say that, you have to do what you feel is best, but on occasions I've actually had smaller shaft router bits work their way up into the chuck, and that can cause a very dangerous injury. What I like to use for my initial cutting out of a template is MDF. Then later on I'm going to actually transfer the MDF template onto some plexiglass or perspex, and that will come apparent why I'll do that later on when we start to do the inlay work. So just got a little bit of, I think this is 3mm MDF, just an offcut out of the bin. Put the box on it, then I'll get a pencil, and roughly, and I'm doing this very roughly, there's a reason for that, because I want to show you that you can be a little bit rough at this stage to get the shape. Now that shape I've got there, not sure if you can see it, but you can just see the outline of the hexagonal going that way. I'm going over to the bandsaw, I'm going to rough cut that, and then I'll shape it to the exact profile of this box. If you're going to get into box making in any serious sort of way, a great little thing you can do is go and get a lump of 38mm, 40mm chipboard from a cabinet making shop or joinery or kitchen makers. They'll most likely give you the offcuts, and then get a nice heavy grit, I think this is 60 grit by the feel of it, piece of cloth back abrasive paper. They might even give you one of their old drum sanding sheets, you never know, you can ask. And then glue it on using adhesive, contact cement, and you get this wonderful flat surface. You can then sand boxes flat. Now what I do is, whatever I do one way, I do the other way. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 3 the other way. 1, 2, 3. Because this is a 6-sided box, I'll turn it one segment, which is 60 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Turn it. And hopefully what we've got there is absolutely dead flat. Double-sided tape. So here we go, we get away with using 3 bits. Okay, so we'll just get the last of this off. Place this on top, and that's not coming off. And as you can see, I haven't been really too accurate putting it on. But the important thing is I've got overhang all the way around. Okay, so I'll show you this really inexpensive little router table I made, and it serves the job quite well. And here it is. I went to a scrap metal dealer. I got a square of steel. It cost me $2 cut square. Then I just drilled some holes in it to line up with the base plate of the router. This is an old bit of kitchen bench top that I've got one saw on. I drilled a hole in that, and as you can tell, it's not a perfect circle. And then I routed out around here, so now that's all nice and flush. You just got to make sure that there's enough knife between the table and the bearing so the bearing can actually run on the surface of your box here. All I do is turn it on. And there I have an exact template of the box that I'm making. And because we've only got 2 little bits or 3 little bits of tape holding it on, it will come away nice and easily. There you go. Template box. Now what I'll do at a later stage is get some perspex or plexiglass. I do exactly the same thing. Double-sided tape on to the template, place it anywhere there, rough cut it on the bandsaw, and then finish it off on that router table. And what I end up with is this shape here. That just fits over nicely. And we'll use that when we start to get the marquetry and do the layout. But for the moment, what we need is some ply bases and a ply top. Whoop. Okay, we've got 2 bits of plywood here. One's 6mm thick, one's 10mm thick. Now the 10mm I'm going to use as the base of the box, and the 6mm I'll use for the top. What I want to do is, using that template we made earlier, and grab a ruler, I want to cut a square out, or rectangle, that is just oversize of the size of the box that we're making. So I'll just draw a line there, one there, and there. So I'll go over to the saw and I'll cut this square out. I'll cut exactly the same on the 6mm, and then we'll veneer the base up, and then I'll show you how we can start working on the top. And there we go. Bob's under my feet. You're a good boy. What I've got now is just 2 squares, one 6mm and one 10mm. They are larger than the box that we're making, both pieces. So what I want to do first is just veneer up double-sided on the base. So now I've got 2 bits of veneer and the base. What I'll do is just glue those on either side, and we can put that up to dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. I want the bits of veneer to be coming together like that. So I want 6 triangles, and they'll meet in the middle, and then when I do the inlay, I'm going to do a rose in a cabochon shaped piece of timber, and then I'll actually lay that in the middle of this, so I want sort of rays coming out. And this piece of timber is well suited to what I want to do. Any timber that's got a strong grain in it, even ordinary pine, has got, actually I've got a bit down here. Now that's a piece of hoop pine, and you can see that line going up there. On at the moment, we'll cut the triangles out. Now, how do you cut triangles out? You can make a template and just use that, but I find, again, that's a little bit too demanding and precise. So what I do is a sewing ruler. It's called a quilting ruler. Pick them up from dress shops. If you feel inhibited about that, ask your girlfriend or your mum to go and pick one up. But quite frankly, I think they're absolutely brilliant. And I use them a lot in the shop for getting different angles. And you can see through them. This being green, you don't lose anything. And it's got white lines, so you can see that. And if you're working on white timber, you can't see the white lines, turn it over, it's got green lines. I find, okay, the upside and the downside. This is the downside. So I will cut the side that I actually want to see. Now I want 60 degrees. So on this is marked 30, 45 and 60. And I put that at the base. So now that 60 degree line is running along the straight edge. I know when I cut up here, that's going to be 60 degrees. Take your time. And actually what I want this black line here. I want that to be central. So what I'm actually going to do is maneuver this ruler along until it intersects with this black line. Now it's just a question of cutting up here. You can see this black line is going right up the middle. Okay, now I've got 6 pieces arranged in a pattern that looks pretty good. Now I've marked them 1 to 6. The way I join this together is scrap bit of timber, bit of sticky tape and PVA glue, sharp knife. What I do is get about, I don't know, 40 mil, 1.5 inches of sticky tape, pop it on my cutting mat. These are great things to get to, a cutting mat. It's a self-healing mat. This one, as you can tell, I've had for quite a while. Now on this sticky tape, what I do is cut down 3 or 4 mil strips and then cut along there. And what I've now got, little square bits of sticky tape, which I'll use like sutures, if you like, when I'm gluing this together. Scrap of timber, a little bit of glue, only a little bit, just a daub. And then I pick up a piece of veneer, the edge of my knife, and then I just run that along the edge of the piece of veneer. Working with veneers, exactly the same as working with solid timber, and it's a lot thinner. Now get the next one, and exactly the same along on that side. What I'm going to do is this in 2 halves. I'll show you what I mean in a tick. Great thing about marquetry is you can't do marquetry if you're cranky or upset, so don't even try. But the other great thing about marquetry is if you are cranky and upset and you get into it, all of a sudden your mood changes, you become very calm. It's the woosah of woodwork. Now glue these together. I'm not worried if they don't match up down the ends, but I'd like the points to come together. Little sticky tape suture, one there, one there. There is no rules. It's experience to know how many little things to put together. And now we just let that dry, nice and firm. Make sure you've got the right sides pointing up. And there we have it. Put that there. Keep that one nice and flat. And we'll do the other one. All right, now I've just taken these out of the clamp we had it in. So here we have two halves that we've now got to join together to give us the shape we want. And you do exactly the same process. Unfortunately, the shape that I prepared earlier, Bob got to. I went up to have some lunch, it was on the bench, and the cameras are actually rolling, so he can't deny it. And I actually had to make another one. Okay, now that Perspex, yeah, well you should too, he's away there sulking at the moment. That's the look of the guilty. Isn't it, Bob? Yes, you know. I don't know if you can see, but I've got scratch marks in there dividing it into 6. Now, you line those scratch marks up to the joins in the actual design itself. I'll put a little bit of double-sided tape so once I get it in place it won't be moving on me. I'll push down there, a nice sharp knife again, and gently scribe around all 6 sides. Now we've got that hexagon and it's stuck to this. What we now do is glue it on to the lid top, and this is where I use hide glue. Just put that on top. So I might even keep that on there whilst I put it in the press. And then the other side, I'll just put another piece as a backing. Get a couple of pressing plates or cauls. Paper under there. Get paper on top. Do that. And I'll go and pop this in the press, and then what we'll do is we'll take the other one out and we'll fit it to the bottom. Right, move this out the way. Here's the base, nicely sandwiched between 2 bits of veneer. And the side that we sanded smooth, that's the side we'll put down on this box. And that's it. Put that to one side. Put one of those heavy weights on it, and then next week we'll trim that to size and shape. Also, we'll take the top out of the press, we can clean that up and attach it to the box, and we'll start making the marquetry. So for this week, this is Steve pulling the shed door down for yet another time and saying, remember to keep it sharp, but more importantly, keep it safe and enjoy your woodwork. And Benno, if I ever make it to Sweden, absolutely, in your shed, Friday night, many beers. Thanks for watching, catch you all later. Bye. Oh, and please like us on Facebook if you enjoy what you see. See ya. What?